So as I coyly hinted in the last video when we uploaded this map, it sure would be nice if we'd be able to click on bits of the map and go to a different point in the bridge. That would involve having different photos or some sort of 3D model that we could navigate around. So let's do a 3D model, shall we? I went on Sketchfab, and although they did not have a model that looks exactly like the Peace Bridge, this is a double helix bridge, as I found out, and there is a couple of double helix bridge models in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Snaps, add a new one. However, I'm going to select the type of 3D scene. Then I'm going to drag this GLB file that I got from Sketchfab, and I'm going to position it like this. And I'm going to set that as the thumbnail, so that's what shows up when we view it. And then I will grab this, because this is the right thing to do. Give credit to good old Singchor, the person who made this bridge. And I'm going to click upload. All right, so our model is now uploaded, and it shows up just like any other snap in here. Except you get this little icon up here which shows you that it's a model and not a equirectangular format or a flat image. And so clicking on it brings us to the familiar editor again. However, we're not in 2D land, we're not in equirectangular land, we are now in 3D land. So we have a fully 3D model rendering here. There's no textures on this model, there's no lighting in here per se, other than some indirect studio lighting I've got set up. It's very bare bones, but this again is just the getting started. This is just to kind of, well, get you started. We're gonna have more advanced videos on this later on. The first thing you wanna do with any model you upload is to make sure that the scale is set correctly. And a model uploads as a snap object, we call them, and which is basically an object that can be added to your snap. And there's various ones. It shows up in here, and I can click to edit it, and I get my properties panel that slides open, and I know already that the scale is already set properly on here. If it wasn't set properly, you could set it by clicking this button and then set things up. You need to set the scale properly because it affects everything. It affects all the lighting, it affects navigation. So yeah, very important for your model to make sure that scaling is set up properly. Now, what we wanted to do was we wanted to have the ability for people to move to different parts of this 3D model when we click on the map. The way we do that is waypoints. And so you'll notice in the menu bar here, there's a couple new additions now that we're in the 3D editor. So there's waypoints and paths. And so waypoints is what we want to focus on. So right now I don't have any existing waypoints. What I'm going to do is I want to make a new waypoint. Now, I could navigate around by using my arrow keys or my mouse. Keyboard shortcuts are all listed up here. But there are also a couple little helpful commands like move to point on model. So I can click this, click somewhere on the model, whoosh, and I'm instantly warped there. Okay, and then I can use my keyboard or my mouse to kind of navigate and position exactly where I want to be. So I'm going to say, let's make a new waypoint here. So I click that. Gives me some details about my waypoint, the name of it, what type of control mode it is, as well as the camera position, as well as the point that we're rotating around. So if you'll notice, we're rotating around, well, we could see it, and we can actually see it if we turn on the target helper. So now if I back up, let's say, I'm going to use this to back up a little bit. So there's what we're orbiting around. This is the point that we're orbiting around. And you can move this around and it'll change your orbit position. You can move it up a little bit and now we're orbiting around there. Okay, so all your little helpers are in this panel here. And so what I want to do is I want to keep that orbit position. I like this. We'll start maybe right here. And I click save. Well, I just called it waypoint 1 just to keep things simple. So now the user can move all the way around here, and that's it. They get a nice little good look at the map. Okay, so let's make another waypoint now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up because I saw this little lookout here, which is perfect for a waypoint. So what I'll do is I will use this again, move to point on model, and I'm just going to go right here and maybe go up a little bit so we can view it. Looks good. Looks good. We'll call this waypoint 2. It's already named automatically for me. And I can click save. And then what we'll do is we'll make another waypoint at the very end here. So I could, let me zoom up a little bit, and I will pick this point on the model to zoom in here to save you the trouble of watching me slowly zoom into it. Okay, so now we're on this side of the model, and I'll create another waypoint here. Okay, so waypoints are extremely powerful. There's going to be more advanced videos on them. You can set up all sorts of limitations, control types. This is how you'd set up, if you want someone to be able to walk on the bridge, or you want them to only be able to look left and right a certain bit, or up and down just a certain bit. All those things can be set with waypoints. So now we have the 3 waypoints set up. And so what I could do is I can go exit out of here, go back to my map. And what I'll do is I'm going to change this waypoint to not be at the 360 anymore, which it was. I'm going to select the Helix bridge that we uploaded. And you'll notice that I have multiple options here. So I can now start at a waypoint. And it's already loaded all my waypoints. So this would be waypoint 1 here. And save. And then what I'll do is I'll create another waypoint, maybe at the lookout here. And again, this is going to be for the Helix bridge. Start at waypoint 2. Done. And then we'll have another one at the very end. Another point hotspot there. And again, Helix bridge. And we'll start at waypoint number 3. Okay. Now, what happens, if I save the map, get out of there, click this, and open up the maps. And we have 3 map spots here, and I can click this one. Oh, we move there. If I click this one, oh, we move there, and I click this one. Oh, and we move back to this next waypoint. Right, and of course, this all works nicely as well if you are in another snap. So for example, if we go to the low one, because these all share the same maps, we're able to now go, okay, well, where should we go today? How about to the end of this bridge? And sure enough, it's going to load this and we're going to start there. So that's how easy it is to set up various waypoints and navigate to them using a map in SeekBeak.